What's up, peeps? Welcome back. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining us for the AEW Insider. This is the final part and part two of our top 10 holiday movies to watch around Christmas time, what have you. It's a really good list. Holidays are big in this house. Halloween is my favorite. Christmas is my daughter's favorite, of course, because she gets all the gifts. And speaking of her, she was supposed to join me in this video, but she flaked out on her old man, which I'm upset about, but I'll get over. But we do have the top 5 plus 3 honorable mentions that are great to watch around Christmas time for adults, kids, comedies, what have you. I would tell you the previous 5 that we did cover, but then you won't watch my other video. So fucking pause this if you didn't go watch the other video and make sure you watch it after, because these are some good flicks. All right, back to the countdown. Number 5, 1988, Die Hard, starring Bruce Willis. There's a big debate about this movie. It's really a Christmas movie. If it's not, if you ask Kevin Williamson, he said it's actually not a Christmas movie. But I do like Kevin Williamson, but I don't give a fuck what he says. This is one of the best Christmas movies. What it's about is that New York City policeman John McClane is visiting his estranged wife and his 2 daughters on Christmas Eve. He joins her at a holiday party in the headquarters of the Japanese-owned business she works for. But the festivities are interrupted by a group of terrorists who take over the exclusive high-rise and everyone in it. Very soon, McClane realizes that there's no one to save the hostages but himself. This movie is great. Like I said, it's an action movie. So, I mean, it's a good action movie. It takes place on Christmas Eve or on Christmas. It's fucking nuts, man. These guys come from out of nowhere. They literally take this building over. They cut it on the outside off so even the cops don't even know what's going on, so they could do what they do, get what they want, and get the fuck out of there. But they weren't counting on John McClane, and he whooped some ass. A fun fact of this movie is that for this film, Bruce Willis was paid a then unheard of $5 million, which was approved by then Fox president Rupert Murdoch. Now that's just insane all on its own. But he was really, really huge at this time. He was doing Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd, and that made him a star. He did do Hudson Hawk, which bombed, but I do love that movie. And then he had this too. And then his career kind of went down, and he came back, and you see where he's at now. But number 5 on the list for a great Christmas movie is Die Hard. Number 4, 2008's Where the Fuck is Santa Claus? That's right. A lot of you probably never even seen this movie. But if you ever watch Jackass and the star of Jackass, Bam Margera, Viva La Bam, this is his Christmas movie, and it is a staple in our house. And ever since it came out in 2008, we fucking love it. We watch it when it's not Christmas, definitely when it is Christmas. It's the best. Bam Margera, his wife Missy, and their friends are getting ready to celebrate Christmas. Bam realizes that he has to get Missy a special present. That present is actually Santa Claus. When discussing how to find Santa, Bam states that he lives in Lapland, Finland, and that the common misconception is that he lives in the North Pole. Disagreeing, he makes a bet with Mark the Bagger that he will find Santa and bring him back to Westchester, PA as a present for Missy. So please, this movie stars Bam Margera and a lot of the Jackass crew and actually going to find the real Santa Claus. So you can only imagine what happens. It's got a great soundtrack. They're getting fucking wasted. They're doing their stunts, but it's a great kick-ass Christmas movie with a good meaning at the end, of course. So you gotta check out our number 4, which is Where the Fuck is Santa Claus? Number 3, 1990's Home Alone, starring Macaulay Culkin. When bratty 8-year-old Kevin McAllister acts out the night before a family's trip to Paris, his mother makes him sleep in the attic. After the McAllisters mistakenly leave for the airport without Kevin, he awakens to an empty house and assumes his wish to not have a family has came true. But his excitement sours when he realizes that 2 con men plan to rob the McAllister residence, that he alone must protect the family home. So everybody and their mother has seen this movie. It's got to be on your top 3 list, if not top 5. Macaulay Culkin in his prime, Joe Pesci in his prime. Kids absolutely love this movie. And Disney is supposed to be working on a new one with Macaulay Culkin for Disney+. So we'll see how that goes. Number 2 on our list, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. 1977. This movie is a classic. It's done by Jim Henson, the guy who did Fraggle Rock, the guy who did the Muppets. It's done with puppets, what have you. This is such a classic Christmas story. It's up there with Charlie Brown Christmas. It's up there with Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, what have you. This movie is just the best. What it's about is that Emmett and his Ma Otter are very poor. They are very happy and they're talented singers. Christmas is around the corner, and they both want to get each other a very special present. The prize in the talent show is $50. Both Emmett and Ma get a song ready for the competition. Emmett forms a jug band, and Ma practices alone. And they do go to battle the River Bottom Gang. So it is awesome. It's exactly what it says. This is a classic story. Usually it's a husband and wife who want to buy something for Christmas. And like it was done, like the wife had long hair and she cut it off to buy her husband something. And the husband actually got her clips for her beautiful hair that she didn't buy anymore. And she got him like a money clip for the money, but he doesn't have it because he spent it for her. So same thing going on with Mom and Emmett. The puppets are awesome. That River Bottom Gang, they're like a badass biker gang, but they're animals and they're against them in a competition. This movie, seriously, to this day, is one of my all-time favorites. If you haven't seen it or you haven't watched it in eons, you have to watch our number 2, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. Now on to our honorable mentions. First, we do have The Grinch That Stole Christmas, 1966. This isn't the Grinch, the Jim Carrey bullshit they shoved down our throats a couple years back. I think that's horrible. This is the original Dr. Seuss cartoon Christmas classic. The Grinch devises a plan to crush the Who's. They want to crush their Christmas spirit by stealing all their presents, decoration, and food while they're sleeping. He disguises himself as Santa Claus and dresses his dog Max as a reindeer, and he descends on into Whoville to accomplish his mission. Now, this is a classic. This has been told a million times, too. It's about a lonely hermit who is lonely for a reason, which you do find out. And there's a town below him with all these people that are happy, they're in love, they're smiling, and he is jealous of that because he doesn't have it. So he goes and he robs them blind, but in the end, he does find a true meaning of Christmas, and they actually come to accept him. So it works out for everybody. Our next honorable mention is 2003's Bad Santa. In this dark comedy, the crotchety Willie T. Stokes and his partner reunite once a year for Holiday Con. They pose as a mall Santa and his elf. They rip off shopping outlets on Christmas Eve. This year, however, Willie is falling apart. He's a depressed alcoholic, and his erratic behavior draws a suspicion of mall security. But when befriending a small boy, it brings out his kinder side. Willie begins to wonder if there is still some hope for him. Billy Bob Thornton, this is his best. It's one of his best movies and all that. It's up to you if it is for the kids. I mean, I think it is. It's great. Because he's cursing, he's drinking, he's getting fucked up, he's smoking, he's having sex, what have you. He's robbing people. When they say Bad Santa, he really is a bad Santa. But he's awesome. It's a classic, a modern age classic, and they actually even have an unrated edition. So check that out. And our last honorable mention is 1998's Scrooge, starring Bill Murray and Bobcat Goldthwait. In this modern take on Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, Frank Cross is a wildly successful yet cruel television executive. His nature has driven away those people around him, his loved ones, his love life, and his girlfriend, what have you. But after firing a staff member, Elliot Loudermilk, he does it on Christmas Eve, Frank is visited by a series of ghosts who give him a chance to reevaluate his actions and right the wrongs of his past. So you've seen this a million times before, too. It's a classic Christmas Carol story. It's going to have Tiny Tim in it, blah, 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 what have you. I didn't know this fun fact just because I'm a fan of Howard Stern. Sam Kinison was actually up for the role that Bobcat Goldthwait got, and Sam feels that Bobcat Goldthwait robbed his act and was robbing all his parts in Hollywood. And this is one of his movies because him and Bill Murray were friends, and you got to see Sam and Bob Goldthwait get into it on the Howard Stern show. It's amazing. But anyway, that's the last of our honorable mentions, and Scrooged is a classic. Now, people, on to our number 1. Drum roll, please. Of course, you already know what it is. You have to. It is 1983's A Christmas Story. Ralphie, a young boy growing up, dreams of owning a Red Ryder BB gun. He sets out to convince the world that it is the perfect gift, but along the way he runs into the opposition from his parents, his teacher, bullies, and even good old Santa Claus himself. This is one of my grandmother's favorite movies. We watched it so much when I was a kid. The VHS tape, that's right, VHS, I'm not old. The tape literally snapped, and then we got another one, and it wore out. We literally probably bought multiple copies over the year until DVD was invented, because this movie is so good. You know it. He's got the Red Ryder BB gun. You'll shoot your eye out. Him with his father with the lamp, with the furnace downstairs, the Chinese food, the duck for dinner when they chop the head off, the fra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra. There is no fucking better movie than A Christmas Story, literally. A fun fact for this movie is, for the scene in which Flick's tongue sticks to the flagpole, a hidden suction tube was used to safely create the illusion that his tongue had frozen to the metal. So that's how they pulled off one of the most famous scenes. All right, peeps, that wraps up our top 10 Christmas movies to watch around Christmas or the holidays, yada yada. I will be doing one every year. This January is already going to be a year that I did create the AEW Insider, so that's very, very special, and I'm not going to give up because I love you guys, so they'll keep on coming. Remember, we be on the lookout for the top 5 horror movies to watch around the holidays, and also the top wrestling videos. Check out our old videos, what have you. Remember to check us out on all podcasting platforms if you want to hear more of me, because I do those all the time, and on Facebook and YouTube under the AEW Insider, and on Twitter under the AEW Insider 1. I hope you guys really, really enjoyed our special Christmas edition. I know I love doing it. I wish my daughter was here, but maybe in the future I could talk her into it again. All right, peeps. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining us for our Christmas edition of the AEW Insider. Ciao, peeps.